down, so can Case Keenum get Cleveland a win on Thursday Night Football? The betting world says, yeah, they can. The Bud list is back. Which quarterback will sit atop Broussard's list of players under the most duress in Week 7? Bud, Broussard's under duress. Took me a while to figure that one out. And LaMelo Ball with so much swag after the season opener. S to the W to the A to the G. Good Thursday morning, everyone. First things first, Nick, Kevin Wilds. Wilds, look at that. You like the fit? Woo. Can you pull something like this off? I don't know what you drive, but I'm betting you can.
You know, I'm a Dodge guy, Jenna. I don't like those fancy. I'm a Dodge guy at my heart, so we can roll the animation. I'm not into whatever car you drive. I'm a Dodge guy.
Oh my goodness.
All right, we're going to start. We'll get to him in a second. We'll start this morning, though, in Dallas, where the 5-1 Cowboys appear to be clicking on all cylinders but one. Mike McCarthy's clock management is the one. Boys have won 5 in a row, but how many times have we come on this show scratching our heads at some of those very questionable timeout decisions McCarthy has made or not made? Well, Cowboys owner Jerry Jones was asked Tuesday where he stands on his head coach's game management. Take a listen to what he had to say.
Overall, I'm right in there with Mike on his game management. I think he does it extremely well. But more importantly, I want all of our fans to know how conscientious about it, how hard he works on it, the detail of situational rehearsal and practice that he does. And so while we all know you can't quite replicate and practice every situation, it's not from a lack of working at it. And so I think that's part of us watching the game. I think that's a part of being a fan and being interactive in the game, is to make our call in our minds the way we want to make it or the way we think it should have done, and the second guessing and everything that goes with it. That in-game activity, that concentration on the game is beautiful.
You know, look, Nick, you've been tough on McCarthy all year for this stuff, saying McCarthy's the only thing that's really holding this team back. You buying Jerry Jones' comments here?
I'm buying his comments, but I think Jerry Jones doesn't understand the question. So when he talks about Mike McCarthy working on things in practice, there are some elements of game management you can work on as a collective, as a team. So that is, guys, we're in the 4-minute drill. We're trying to get 3 first downs to win the game. Let's make sure our running back knows he needs to go down in bounds rather than run out of bounds. It's more important to keep the clock running than get the extra yard. Or we're in the 30-second drill trying to get a fire drill field goal. We need to make sure our receiver knows if you make a catch, pick up the ball, run and hand it to the official. Don't toss it to the official. You can practice those types of things. That isn't what we're talking about. What we're talking about is, as a for instance for the audience, what's 98 divided by 7? Either you know it or you don't. If you don't know it, then you got to think, you're like, wait, how you carry? Or you just knew it. You're like, it's 14. Mike McCarthy is obviously 14. The former, not the latter. He's not going to, he's had a decade to get better at this. Now, I suppose we could do flashcards with him, like I do with my 7-year-old, so she can get 98 divided by 7, but he's a 50-something-year-old man. I think we're past it. He doesn't understand time, score, situation, Broussard, and those are split-second judgments. And even when he has the extra time, and even when he is able to cheat off the referee's paper, or they're, Mike, supposed to call timeout here, buddy. That's why I'm here. He's 14, still Mike. Deer in the headlights. So I just know, I'm sure he thinks he's working at it, but he's not. And if he is, he's working the wrong way at it, and it will bite the Cowboys.
All right, to answer Jenna's question, I do agree with Nick that Jerry Jones means what he says. I think he fully believes in Mike McCarthy, no doubt about it. And I think Nick makes a great point. He's talking about game management rather than clock management. All right? I just think, Nick, you go too far. And certainly in saying that McCarthy needs to be fired, which you said earlier in the week. This guy does deserve credit. I know he doesn't call the plays, but if you got the top offensive in football, guess who gets the credit? The head coach. All right, I know you're not running the defense, but if your defense is much improved, guess who gets the credit? The head coach. So I think he's still doing a fine job. Now, behind the scenes, Jerry does need, or whether it's Jerry or Stephen Jones, maybe more would be better, they do need to be talking with Mike about the clock management. I'm with you there. Publicly, Jerry said the right thing. Privately, you need to be talking with him about these things, seeing what his thinking is. Why didn't you call this timeout? Why didn't you do this or that? Because I feel like we're seeing more and more how seconds can be the difference between a win and a loss when these teams are evenly matched. We're seeing where if you give the opponent the football with 37 seconds left now, that could be enough to lose you the game. So the clock management, Nick, I'm not belittling it. It is important. I just think you go a little too far with it. And I got to throw this in because the endorsement of Jerry Jones, while I believe he means it wholeheartedly, it can be a shaky thing because Jerry Jones endorsing you. I mean, Jerry Jones has been running this club for a long time, and they haven't been to a Super Bowl, even an NFC title game in 25 years. He just started saying that Jimmy Johnson did a good job back in the day. So I think his endorsement is shaky, but I believe he means it, Wilds.
Okay, so I think his endorsement is based on the record, Broussard. They're 5-1. They've started 5-1 14 other times. They've never missed the playoffs when they've been 5-1. They've gone to 3 Super Bowls and they've won 2. So I think Jerry is projecting out, I remember when we were in 5-1. Guess what? Turns out pretty well. But when it comes to Mike McCarthy, here's the take of the year. I think he should be working on this less, not more. I think he should delegate it out to a nerd. That's ridiculous. Like, why? Broussard, you just laid out. It's a split-second decision. You have to know all these scenarios. Just delegate it. Have it be someone's full-time job. We saw that Dan Campbell has someone out in Detroit giving him clock management, timeout management in his ear on the headset. Not telling him what to do, but say, hey, here's what the numbers say. And he got kind of ripped in the media for that. It's like, Dan Campbell, you're crying, you're eating kneecaps. He's kind of viewed less prestigious as someone like Bill Belichick is. But guess what? Matt Patricia, who came from the Lions, took his clock management over to New England. So Bill Belichick is the same type of guy. But the idea, Nick, that Mike McCarthy needs to hold on to this clock management, like if you're not a real man unless you change your own oil. You know what? Someone does it, and it's very easy. You pull in, they change your oil. It's nice and simple. Now you're going to say, well, what does he have to do? If he doesn't call these plays, doesn't call that. Like, no, it doesn't matter. He'll have a better chance at winning the Super Bowl if they hire a nerd whose full-time job, 50 hours a week, 60 hours a week, is figure out clock management.
I like it.
Okay, good.
Okay,
I like
and
it,
again,
Wilds.
but you don't need 50 or 60 hours a week. You need 30 or 40 games of Madden in your life, and you have it down pat. This is not splitting an atom. This is understanding that you have 3 timeouts and the 2-minute warning. The play clock is 40 seconds, that a touchdown can be worth 6, 7, or 8 points. You can do this stuff on an abacus and a Timex. That's all. You don't need to go to MIT. But the NFL teams have a problem with it. But hold on, real quick, though. It is not just that. We are talking about the Cowboys as a Super Bowl contender. It is about the history we have of Mike McCarthy. In the biggest moments, he gets tight. We say, you can win a Super Bowl with McCarthy because the Packers did it. That year, next time we have Vic on, let's ask him about the Eagles-Packers game in the first round of the playoffs that year, when the Packers were up 11, and then Mike McCarthy, for a full quarter, took the ball out of Aaron Rodgers' hands, and all of a sudden Mike Vick's got to pass into the end zone to beat them. The Packers happen to pick off. They get to the Super Bowl that year playing Caleb Haney. Or the next time they had a chance to get to the Super Bowl, when they are up double digits. And what does McCarthy do? Take the ball out of Aaron Rodgers' hands, and how does that game end? with a loss to Seattle in overtime that they had no business losing. It's that he screws up the small stuff, which is big stuff. And Jenna, once you get in the biggest moments, he plays not to lose. He has a 10-year history of it, and he promised Jerry Jones he spent a year studying analytics. That was clearly a lie, just like him watching every Cowboys play was a lie. He admitted that was a lie. He was like, no, I just wanted the job. Well, you got the job, but you're not equipped for it, Jenna. Not you, Jenna. You're very
There was
equipped.
no
Mike
barn.
McCarthy.
No, I'm very equipped. Actually, not so much. Fun fact, I play 30 hours of Madden a week. I still know nothing about time management. So I get it, McCarthy. It's not the easiest thing in the world.
You play it on a Game Boy.
We got to move on. Yes. Is that a problem? The Nintendo 64. Atari. Back talking LaMelo, because why not talk about this guy? Started off year 2 with a bang. Did he open your eyes last night? Ask these guys next. But first, check out Tom Brady congratulating Aaron Rodgers on his latest achievement. Listen to this.
You know, I was studying a little bit on the Bears and the Packers and watched a lot of that. It was another great game. And actually, before we get started, I wanted to say congrats to Aaron Rodgers. Obviously, not only is he a great quarterback, but I guess he's now a shareholder of the Bears. He was, I saw a clip of him really enthusiastically telling the crowd how happy he is to own Soldier Field. And that's really great stuff. He owns the Bucs now.